like, wonderful. Okay, so hi everyone, welcome to the Gems of Life. This is our first actually masterclass, and I'm so happy I got the first 4 VIPs already logged in here. Wonderful. Thank you, ladies, for being here and for your support. I greatly appreciate. My name is Fadhwa, and today's masterclass is basically living in your essence, stepping into your light. And this can only happen when you're truly engaged and in forgiveness and letting go. Only then will you be able to find true power. Only then will you be able to find true essence within yourself. Because healing only happens after forgiveness happens. So it's forgiveness, healing, then freedom, basically, and you're stepping into that light. And that is the essence of this show, of this workshop, is to actually just take you from, going through the hurdles of forgiveness right into stepping into your light. And that is my intention for this workshop. So I'm so excited. So if you could just maybe share in the chat box, what is it that you're hoping to get out of this workshop? Because we all come here with a different intention. We all have a need that we want to be fulfilled. So if you could just share there, please, because this is all about dialogue, as interacting and sharing so that each other can learn from each other. And as I'm talking to you, I'll be admitting people as well. So if you could just share in what are the things that you're hoping that you will benefit this from. So I have Angela here saying, learning different perspective on forgiveness and letting go. Wow. And you know what? We're going to be covering that. Fantastic, Angela. Thank you for sharing. Alithia, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I have Regina. I would like to learn how to move past my, yes, oh my goodness. Yeah, to move on into my purpose. Absolutely. And you know what? When we are so, we're in this darkness, when you don't let go, when you don't forgive, you know what happens? What happens is it holds you prison. It just holds you there, and you're not able to see everything else in front of you. You'll not be able to experience anything in front of you. So I'm really glad. I'm really glad that you're able to share. Hey, Alithia. I was just going into, we were just talking about what are the things that you're hoping to gain from this masterclass. What are the things that you're hoping to gain from this masterclass? That's what we're talking about. So if you can share what you're hoping to.
I got it. Thank you.
Diana, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome, welcome to the masterclass. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Thank you.
We're just starting off, and I'm just asking the first question here, just to get us engaged and get started. What is the thing that you're looking forward to this masterclass? What is something that you hope to walk away from? So this sets up the tone, right? So knowing what you want and what you're expecting, and by the time we finish the masterclass, we'll be able to go back and say, okay, did you get what you came for? Did you get the outcome you're looking for? Right? And if I fell short, then that's where I'll find out and see, okay, where was I missing? Was there some areas that I needed to work on and improve on, or maybe areas that I needed to really talk more about? So it'll give us perspective. So you can share that. Well, the outline of the program for the workshop that I'd like to talk about is, first is I will be asking a quiz. And the quiz is basically just 5 questions. And I will say them very, very slow so you can really understand what I'm actually asking. And then based on each question, ask yourself this very question: where do I fit in out of those 5 questions that I'm going to ask you? Which one resonates more with you? Okay, so that will be the first outline. And the second one will be exploring what forgiveness is. What forgiveness is all about. We take it so lightly. Talk about forgiveness. So we'll talk about that. The third outline we'll be talking about is, what are the costs and benefits of forgiveness? Ooh, that's touchy, right? We don't usually like to talk about that. We know it's that big elephant in the room. So the cost and the benefits of forgiveness. And then the process. And I know, Angela, you mentioned that, the process, wanting to know what the kind of process. So the process that leads you from where you are to the path of forgiveness. And we'll talk about that. And then there'll be an exercise that I'll leave you with. And then we'll have a Q&A session where we can talk about openly and answer some questions as well. Regina said, also, do you know when you have truly forgiven someone? Yes, we'll cover that as well. Powerful questions as well. Thank you so much. So I just want to do a quick introduction. My name is Fadhwa. I believe all of you, we've known each other. We haven't met physically yet, apart from Suleka, but everyone else we've met through Zoom, through online, through other workshops, through some other programs. So this is just us again, Zoom meeting. This has been the normal. So my name is Fadhwa Yusuf. I am a speaker, life coach, as well as a talk show host for my radio station called the Gems of Life Show on CKMS Radio 102.7. It's every Friday from 6 to 7. I'm also a YouTuber, so I have a YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go in there and subscribe. I'd like your support. And I am here today to just share my gems. That's why I call it the Gems of Life. I'm just here to share the gems, and I believe we all kind of benefit from each other. Okay. Yes, I mean, it's hard. Absolutely. Right. So let us go into the first question here. And please, you can put in the chat box so everybody else can be there with you and support you and, get to see you. Maybe sometimes we have that commonality. Then you feel like, hold on, I am not alone here, right? I am not alone. If you could just put in the chat box, I am never alone. I am not alone. If you can just put in there just to let each other know, there's somebody there maybe feeling that they're kind of lost. They feel there's no hope. There is no way out. So you're just letting them, you're not alone. You're not alone. I am not alone. We are here for each other. We are here for each other to support one another. So the first question is, and this is when it comes to forgiveness. Do you often say, we have that dialogue that says, I will never forgive them for what they did. I will never forgive them for what they did. Oof. Is that a dialogue that you've had before in your mind where you say to yourself, I will never forgive them. I will never forgive him, or I'll never forgive her. Because at that moment, the emotions are so raw and you don't feel you have that capacity within yourself to actually even think that you'll ever forgive them. So does that ring? Does that resonate with you? If it does, press yes, write yes. Yes, it resonates. And listen, this is a safe environment for us. It's a safe space. So no one is mean here. We're mean to each other. We are here to just share, and we are here to love one another and be compassionate and kind to one another. Yes, absolutely. Okay, we still have a few more people coming in. Okay, so that'll be the first question. The second question, do you ask yourself, or do you say this to yourself? I just avoid them. I avoid them. I actually pretend I don't see them. I pretend I don't even see them. I completely avoid them. Because when you're not forgiving, when you haven't let go of that emotion, what happens? You don't want the last thing you want to see is their face. So if this resonates with you, type in yes. So somebody else doesn't feel like they're alone. Listen, I have felt that way many, many times where I don't even want to see their face. I don't even want to hear their whisper, right? Because of whatever the emotions and the anger and the sorrow that's within you, it's coming up. And the last thing you want to hear is their voice. The last thing you want to see is their face. So are you resonating with that question? Asmarat, welcome. All right, so Asmarat, I'm just going through the questions, and this is something that I just want to see if it resonates with you. The third question will be, I simply don't trust them. I will never trust them. I will never trust them again. I simply don't trust them. Is this resonating with you? Are you holding on to that for not forgiving or letting go because you will never trust them? It could be a failed relationship. Listen, I have been there. I have failed. I'm a master of failed relationships. I am a master of failed relationships. But let me tell you, it has brought me lesson upon lesson upon lesson to be able to sit here and actually laugh about it, So, and I've learned the art of forgiveness, and I will talk to you more about that process. But let me tell you, I have been holding on for so long, and I'm like, whoo. So if you're there with me and it resonates with you, press in yes, say yes, absolutely, yes, yes, yes. Absolutely, you know? Okay, so that's one of them. The other one is you are not welcomed in my life. He is not welcome in my life anymore. She's not welcome in my life anymore. She's not welcome in my space. She's not welcome. He's not welcome in my home. Have you ever felt that? Are you not forgiving and not letting go because of that? That you cannot even see them. You cannot even be in the same space with them. You see them at the shopping mall, you go on the other side because you know there's something inside that's boiling you, within you. Okay, yes, yes, Regina, thank you. Yes, 100%, absolutely. And you know what? It's okay. I want you to be open today and just be vulnerable enough to just open yourself to this moment. You know why? Because for us to forgive, we need to be vulnerable. For us to forgive, we need to just let go. So we need to let go of these layers today. Today, this room is safe for us to speak and be open. So yes, 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 absolutely, 100%. The other one, now this, I'm just giving you a heads up. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're mean. It's just your emotions. It's just your emotions. Have you ever thought of this? Any point in your life, and you said this, I know it's such a bad thing to think about. Whew, I wish something bad would happen to them. Ever that thought crossed your mind? Let me tell you, I know I'm not alone. No, I'm not alone. So please, if you're with me, and it doesn't make you a bad person, it doesn't make you a bad person. But at that moment, because you're fueled with so much anger, even rage and hate and whatever emotions, people can drive you to that extent in your life. People can truly drive you. Absolutely, absolutely. And when you feel that moment, you're feeling like, I wish something, it's, you feel bad for actually thinking about that. Yeah. And then what happens? You still go on and you're like, if only they could just disappear from this face or face of the earth, or if something happens to them, it's normal. The anger, the rage will come out and that thought will come out. It doesn't mean you want something bad for that person, but it's just your emotions that are enraging within you. Yes, yes. Sometimes, yes. Yeah, we have to be truthful. You know, Angela says, I've experienced each of these of different time in my life. You know what, Angela? So have I. So have I. And you know what? It just makes us human. It just makes us human. You know, but how do we get from that level of feeling this rage, feeling to this point where I've talked about all that 5? How do you get from that to a place where when something happens to you, you're in a very different place? Wouldn't you want that? Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. So thank you so much for participating and engaging with me. I greatly appreciate it. So that is just 5 of the questions, part of the quiz. I just wanted to have the icebreaker and get to see where we are at, get to see where we are at when it comes to holding on to things. So I'm glad I'm not alone. And it doesn't mean you're mean, okay? I am not mean. You can actually type it up. I am not mean. And type 1 for me as well, Angela. I am not mean just because I feel that. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so what is forgiveness? We loosely use forgiveness. We usually say, I forgive you. We loosely say forgiveness. What does that really mean to you? So if you could just put in the comment, in your own words, in your own understanding, what is forgiveness for you? What does that really mean? I want to see what everyone has here. What does forgiveness mean to you? Thank you for taking the time to write that up. Letting go, letting go of the anger. Yeah, inside, absolutely. Yeah, that's so powerful, Angela. You know, it's just letting go. Regina, yeah, forgiveness is not allowing someone else to have power over you. That's absolutely right. That's what forgiveness is. To be in a place where you're just on a different level until somebody will look at you and say, what are you on? Can I have what you're having? You know, that is the state we want to get to. That is the state I'm in now. That is the state I've been living for the past years, couple of years actually, you know, and it's the most beautiful place you could ever be at. Try to forget and forgive. Suleha, thank you. Try to forget and forgive. Okay, healing. Yeah, letting go of what has happened to you and know that you're surrounding, absolutely, that you're surrounding. So you're creating a new environment for yourself. You're creating a new reality for yourself. And that means new lens, right? New perspective and how you do things. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that with me, everyone. So what is forgiveness? Forgiveness is actually the process, right? It's the process. It's a process of clearing. It's the process of removing. It's the process of cleaning all the emotions, psychological, emotional pain, hurt, sorrow, disappointments, you know, all the things, the negative emotions that have been consuming you. And it's the method of the process of letting it go. And that is what forgiveness is. To be at a state where you're not holding or carrying any burden. You're not being triggered by the events in your life or people in your life. So forgiveness is just being free. Forgiveness is freedom. Freedom of your spirit, freedom of your soul, where you're able to actually live in the best possible place, which is your essence, your true essence. And that's the main method for this workshop that we're doing today. The masterclass is you living in your essence, in your light. It's letting go, forgiveness. That's what it is. Forgiveness means freedom. Freedom, absolutely. Okay, so any questions so far before I go further? Is there anything you would like me to clarify before I go further? No? Okay. All right. So if we are moving, we understand what forgiveness is. And for us to understand what forgiveness is and how we can go through the process, we want to understand what is it that we're holding on to first, right? Before we let it go, what is it that we're holding? What is it that you're holding today? What is it that you're holding that needs to be released? What is it that you're holding today that needs you to not only release it, but clear it from yourself, from your body, from your mind, from your emotions? What is it that you need to hold, to let go of? And you can share that in the chat box, right? It took me a long time, a very, very long time to understand the essence of it. Letting go, what does letting go mean? What does forgiving mean? Just because I said I forgive this person, and I have said that many times, only to find out years later, truly, that yeah, I forgave, but inside there was still something brewing, and I never realized. But then there were triggers. Everywhere in my life I'll come, something will trigger, but I never connected the dots, right? And I'll talk to you about that today, where you're able to connect those dots and figure out what triggers are bringing these emotions upward. So what are the things that, heavy, yes. What is it that you're holding? Is it, something that you want to let go of? Is it a relationship that you need to forgive? You know, is it something that you said to someone that you need to ask for forgiveness? Because forgiveness is both ways. It can be you asking for someone that you have done wrong to, you're seeking their forgiveness, or it could be the other way around. You want to forgive someone who has done wrong to you, right? So it's both ways. So what is it that you want to release today? What is it that you want to let go of today? What is it that you want to clear today? And it's okay if you don't want to share it. It's okay, just write it down. Because I know there's some things that are there already that we know that we are ready to just speak about it. But what do? We just hold it. So right now, if it comes up to you as we are going through this, the workshop, anything that comes up to you, just write it down, because you can always come back to it. And there's some things that are obvious, and you know immediately what's happening right now in my life. I need to work on it, right? So there are obvious things, and then there's the subconscious items that are still there cooking, waiting to come out. So that will be the thing. Ask yourself, what is it that I need to release today? So that when we finish the workshop, you can start working on those things. Okay. Okay, Regina wrote, A family member wronged me and I am leaving them, okay? I'm living in guilt because I am holding on to unforgiveness. Oof. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. And we will talk about that, right? Releasing part of that and going through the process. We will talk about that. And believe me, I just want you to know, set your intentions right now. This forgiveness is more for you. It's the food for your soul. Oh, yes, food for your soul. This is what will set you free. It's not for anybody else. It's for you. So today, this is for you. This is all for you. And I'm here to just dedicate and honor you, to really dedicate and honor you and honor this moment that you're here, because that was a big step. You are here for a reason. You're here for a reason, not just to support me, but also to do something for your life, to heal that part that is hurting. So I command you, I salute you, I congratulate you for taking the first step to healing, because just showing up is a step. Showing up is the first step. There could have been many who would have showed up today, but you chose to come in. You chose to come in and listen to this. Why? Because there's something that you know is going to resonate, hoping that it will resonate with what you're looking for. And I hope I'll be able to do it justice. I truly hope that will be my intention. Truly hope to do it justice. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So asking yourself, what are the things that you need to forgive? Keeping that in mind. Keeping that in mind. So you already know what you need to ask for forgiveness. Okay. So there's the person who has done you wrong, and then there's you've done wrong to someone. So it's both, right? I've had both instances in my life. I am no angel. I am not perfect, and no one is perfect in this world. We have hurt someone. Just as much we have been hurt by someone, we are also responsible for hurting someone, for creating sorrow and disappointment in someone, right? So chances are the ones that you've hurt, maybe they're shorter amount, the list maybe smaller compared to where we've gone through. We tend to be hurt more than when we go out hurting others. So look at that, both aspects, and ask yourself, where is it that I need to go and ask for forgiveness? And then where is it that I need to forgive? No matter how painful, no matter how hurt, no matter how heavy it feels for you to carry, for you to move past, what is it that I need to forgive? Now, the question I want to ask you now, what is stopping you? Because you're here, you want to learn how to forgive, the process of forgiving. What has been stopping you thus far from forgiving? If you can just share that in the message, please, because this gives us a deeper understanding what stops us. We create some boundaries, right? So what are those boundaries that have stopped you from taking that step to actually forgive? What is it? Fear. What else? What else? What is the thing that is creating? It's stopping you. It's preventing you from either asking for forgiveness for somebody you have done wrong to, or actually preventing you or stopping you from actually forgiving someone. What is stopping you? Fear, heavy emotional pain, and lack of trust. Absolutely, absolutely. Pride, yeah, pride, absolutely. Pride holds us back. It's one of those barriers, absolutely. What else? Anything else? Because there is something that holds us, right? There's so many things. It's not just one or two or three. There's so many things that stops us from being able to stand up with clear conviction and be able to ask for forgiveness or forgive, right? Yes, absolutely. Fear, absolutely. I have that on my list. Absolutely. Anger, yeah. And lack of not being able to make the first step. Yes. So that would be the pride also, right? You know, the pride. Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes somebody will get to you first before you do it, and you're like, dang, I should have been first. You know, but it makes it easier, right? And if you were to ask yourself, if you had the opportunity, would you be the first to go in and make that step? If you had the opportunity today, would you be the first, or would you wait for somebody else to come and approach you? Because sometimes, you know, especially like you said, you have fear, There's the pride. But if we remove the pride, if we remove the fear, and when we talk about fear, why the fear? The fear of what, right? So if you have that opportunity and it's fear is stopping you, what could be the worst thing that could happen? If fear is the one that's stopping you, what could be the worst thing that could happen? Fear of what? Yeah, fear of being rejected. Oh, apologies. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so true, right? And that's a genuine, thank you, Ms. Mara, for sharing that. It's a genuine concern, right? Ego. And we talk about pride, ego and pride goes hand in hand. It's the same thing. There's that ego of proving yourself to be right. And also, yes, it's been done, something was done to you that was wrong to you, but guess what? Is it right also to hold on to it? So sometimes that ego, that pride, you're thinking, I am right and they're wrong, and what they did was wrong, right? So you're holding on to that pride, you're holding on to that ego of, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to wait for them to do it. And there's that belief system as well that goes with the ego, that I am older than this person. If you're older than the person who's wronged you, right? I am older than this person. They should come and apologize to me. You know, and especially when you have a parent-child or siblings, yeah, or siblings, yes, or you know, spouses. There's that tug of war, right? So ego plays into it. You know, I'm not going to step first. He has to come in and speak to me first, or she has to come in and talk to me first. So absolutely, absolutely. The other one is defensive, right? Being defensive, having the defense. You create this defense wall around you, and this defense actually is the one that consumes you. But you create this wall in front of you of victimhood, that I have been wronged. And I am not saying what has happened. I'm not justifying what has happened. I'm not saying what has happened to you is not wrong. It's absolutely wrong. What you went through, what you experienced, any emotional, psychological, physical, verbal abuse, or any sort of things that have happened in your event in your life, I'm not going to make excuses for it. They happened. You were wronged. Whatever experience or emotions that you went through, the pain or hurt or sorrow, disappointment, what you went through, it went through. You went through it. That's your story. That's your pain. It's yours. I am not here to take it away from you. But what I'm saying is, sometimes when we play in the role of victimhood, we get trapped in it. We get trapped in it because then we start feeling sorry for ourselves. And the moment we start doing that, what happens? We get trapped in there and we don't get to see everything else in a clear lens to see what really we should be doing, right? So sometimes that also traps us and we cannot see past forgiveness because we feel we are victims. So if we remove ourselves from the victimhood to a person who is, I've been wounded, I'm in pain, and really address those issues, then we get out of victimhood and be able to take that power back, right? And only then can we be able to forgive and learn how the process of it. Does that make sense? If you have any questions, please share. Yeah. Absolutely. We want to have, we have fear because it matters. Absolutely. You have that fear of being rejected, right? Of maybe the other person turning it back on you, or maybe somebody will come and use it against you, right? So you have that fear. You have that, absolutely. You've been resented for it. Maybe it will not go the way you want it to be. So we'll address all those issues later on and the process that you can take that will prevent those kind of fears. Okay. Absolutely. The other one that really stuck with me is guilt and shame. Oh, let me tell you, I am guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. I had a few years ago just realized that how I had created this emotion in this person. This is somebody who I cared for, I loved, and very close to me. And over 20, I would say 27 years ago, I said some things and did some things. I was very young and I'm not going to make excuses for it. But whatever I did caused hurt and pain and sorrow in this person. And the worst part is I saw it. I saw how it demeaned her. I saw how she felt. And that image stuck with me for the rest of my life. It's been 27 years. It stuck with me. That image was always there. But the guilt and the shame ate me up. I was so ashamed that how could you're not even capable of such a thing. How could you even do such a thing? Why would you even think of saying such a thing? And you know what Maya Angelou says, I don't know if you're aware of this quote. I love it. She says, people will never forget what you say to them. People will never forget what you do to them. People will forget what you say to them, and people will forget what you do to them, but they will never forget how you make them feel. Oh, that's so powerful. And it resonates that with me, because I know today that, my goodness, I created hurt and sorrow in this person that I cared for. But I was so consumed with shame and guilt, it stopped me from seeking forgiveness. And I'll be happy to tell you, because of the process that I've learned and the stage in my life that I'm in right now, I've been able to make peace with that. I was able to create a space where we were able to talk and have this conversation and be at peace with it. That she too brought it up, that she too, all these years, was in her mind, even though she did not hate me for it. She forgave me, but it was there. She never forgot. She never forgot how I made her feel. And that's the worst thing that you could ever make somebody feel. We tend to talk about forget, right? You forgive, but you can never forget. She forgave me, but she never forgot. And I asked for forgiveness, but I never forgot how I made her feel. So think about a time in your life where you have experienced such an incident. Maybe you said something to someone. Maybe you did something to someone. But by doing so, you created this feeling with this person that demeaned them, disempowered them. Think of that moment. And it could go as far back, or it could be something so recent. Or maybe having that awareness right now and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be responsible for what I say, because I don't want to create an emotional feeling that is going to disempower someone, right? So that is, for me, that was the biggest thing, shame and guilt. And this is one of the things that stop us from seeking forgiveness or asking for forgiveness. If there's something that resonates with you so far, what I've just shared, please put in there and share it with everyone. So those are the things that I shared: ego, guilt, shame. The other one is assumption. You know how I don't know if you have something similar to that, where you assume that they're forgiven and forgotten. You're hoping. Has that ever happened, where you've wronged someone, and maybe years later you meet this person and you're like, I just hope they forgot, and you're hiding because of shame and guilt, and you're assuming that they've forgotten, or you're thinking, okay, hope they've forgotten. If they've forgotten, then they're forgiven me. I don't know if this has been that instance, but assumptions, or thinking that maybe it's too soon to go and ask and speak to them, or too long, or too far. What's the point, right? These are things that actually create those boundaries that stop us from moving forward. And fear, you talked about fear. Ooh, the fear of, and I'm going to talk more about that, the fear of being resented for it, the fear of being rejected by it, the fear of being shunned upon it, or the fear of being pushed away, right? Or the fear, hoping that you will rekindle that relationship, but the fear when you go in and ask for forgiveness, the fear of maybe that relationship will break, right? So there is that kind of fear as well. And we'll talk more about that as well. So here's a question. I've given you my example. Is there a time in your life that you feel, when you look at all the events that are happening in your life, and you ask yourself, what is it costing me? Is there a time in your life that you can actually come back to and pinpoint and see what the cost is? Because there's going to be a cost and there's going to be a benefit. So if you ask yourself, what is it costing me? Look at any relationship right now with people around you and then within yourself. So how is it you holding on to this thing here? How is it costing you your life? How is it impacting you, your life, your health? How is it impacting your health? how is it impacting your life? How is it impacting the people around you? How is it impacting your mind wellness? How is it impacting your emotions? So think about, hi, Lena.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. I just saw your thing
Oh, well, welcome. Where did you see it?
on Facebook.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Come in, join us. We just started the program.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and we'll continue. You'll have opportunity. We have more coming on, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. I'm just gonna, if you're able to mute, please. Thank you for coming. Okay, so ask yourself, and Lena, we're just talking about the areas in your life where you need to let go and forgive, and how is it costing you your life right now? What are the areas in your life that is it's paying for it? What is it costing you? You know, when you look at the relationships around you, by you not letting go, how is it impacting those relationships? By you not letting go, how is it impacting your health? How is it impacting the people around you, those close to you, your friends, your family, your community? How is it impacting your mind, your emotions? You know, so what we are looking at, because this is all holistic, right? Forgiveness, but when you let go, it's all holistic process. So how is it impacting you? And if you want to just share in the chat box, please, that would be really amazing. What area in your life is it impacting you the most? Maybe that you can just sum it up that way. What area in your life is it impacting you the most? By not letting go, by not forgiving, what area in your life is it impacting you the most? Tatiana, health. Health, yeah, peace of mind, absolutely, and your life, absolutely. When you don't have your peace of mind, when your health is affected by this, your life is going to be affected because your life rests on all that, right? Yeah, peace of mind, absolutely, full peace of mind. And this is the purpose of this workshop, of the, the masterclass, is for you to have that peace of mind. And letting go and forgiveness allows you to do that, absolutely. So these are the areas that maybe you can start looking at as you're making notes, as you're writing down. Just make notes of what area in your life, because sometimes we don't even think about it. We are just so concentrated on all the things that are around us. We don't pay attention how it affects us. So just ask yourself and write it down. What area in your life is it affecting you? Is it a relationship that is very close to you that you need to maybe mend? Or is it your health, your mind, your peace of mind, or your life? What area in your life that needs your attention today? Once you finish this seminar, what is the area that you can go back and revisit and use the tools that I'll be giving you that would help you take you from where you are right now to a place where you'll be living in your essence, in your light. Okay. So the limitations, we talked about the areas that it's costing you, right? Yeah, healing your soul, absolutely. Peace of mind, being homeless, absolutely, absolutely. And being homeless, let me tell you, I have been homeless. So I know what it's like. I know what it's like to start over. I've not done once or twice, I've done it 3 times. I've been homeless 3 times. I've been homeless 3 times with my young children. And so I know a thing or two about starting over when you have nothing, you have no money, no job, no home, penniless, broke, basically starting your life over from fresh, right? And the last thing you want is carrying all this burden with you because you have so much to worry about. You have a life to take care of, you and your family and your children. But then when you have all these added layers, what is it going to do? It's going to drag you. And when you don't forgive and let go, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be your shadow. It's going to be the dress that you wear. A heavy, heavy one that you cannot even lift it. Wow. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. So the limitations, part of costing you, the limitations, what are the limitations, right? So we're talking about costing you. What is it costing you? Your health, your mind, your emotions, your life, the limitations. What are the limitations? What is it limiting you to do? Just think for a moment. If you were to let go right now, this moment, what would be the limitations that were there? Disappear. If you can just write it down for me. I am so excited about this part because I truly believe that forgiveness opens up a whole new world for us, a new perspective. You know, I call it the VIP first class ticket to your soul. Yes, that's what it does. I am telling you, it opens up something. It opens up something. So what is the limitation? Freedom. Yes, I'll let go. I could have a clear heart and soul. Yes, Regina. Yes, you would have a clear heart and soul. So what is the limitation? You know, why are we having these layers and layers upon layers in front of us when we can have freedom, when we can have peace of mind? Why do we create these layers, right? But we have limitations. Even being present with yourself, being true to yourself, being the best of you, bringing the best version of you in front of others or to yourself. Authenticity. You can never be authentic when you're not vulnerable. And when you're not forgiving and when you don't let go, what happens? You're closed off, which means what? You're not vulnerable, which means what? You're not authentic. So even the relationships around you will not be as authentic as it should be because you're not showing up fully. You're not yourself. You're not yourself. Let me tell you, a few years ago, I used to say, you know what, these guys I'm married to, they only saw 1% of me. And I used to think it was a good thing. You know, I used to think it was a good thing. I used to say, they only saw 1%. They didn't deserve, you know, so I only gave them 1%. Little did I know I was denying myself to experience life, to experience love, to experience all the abundance that was around me. So sometimes we create these layers in front of us thinking that we are actually doing ourselves a favor when we are actually doing the opposite. You know, so it limits us. What does it do else? It dims the light. Whew. Let's take a breather here. Let's take a breather here. Yes, yes, yes. Let's take a breather here. I just want to go in and read a message here from a few of you. Let's see. Sometimes I'm not wearing my glasses, so I'm having difficulties here. We need to forgive most. Okay. When I first learned how to do that, I would become so much freer. Absolutely. Happy and healthy. Absolutely. You hit it. You touched it. Happy and free. Let's just say happy and free, please. Let's just type it up on the box there. Freedom, happy and free. I just want to be free. I want to be happy. I want to have a healthy life. I want to live an abundant life. That's what we want. And freedom, for us to experience that freedom and that kind of life, we need to let go. So let's use this as a motivation, as inspiration to move us towards that direction. Because if that's what we want, then that's the price we're going to be willing to pay. And if the price is to forgive so that we can sow the benefit, so be it. So be it. Yes, so be it. So be it. Yes, freedom. Absolutely. We salute to freedom. Absolutely. So the other one is it dims your light. And what happens when it dims your light? You're not yourself. You're not yourself. You lose that part of you. You know, when you don't forgive and you just hold on and it keeps you captive, it keeps you prison, what happens is it dims the light. And when it dims the light, you only show up a little percentage of you to others. People don't experience who you are. You don't experience who you are fully, and you will not experience the abundance around you because you're in a dark place and all you will see is darkness. That's all you see. That's the power it has on us. It holds us prison, it holds us hostage, and it keeps us in that dark space. But if we allow ourselves and we give ourselves permission, we can get out of that darkness and step into our own light. Absolutely, absolutely. The other thing, what it does is when it limits us, it also guards us. We stay guarded. Think of a moment, a few times in your life where you feel guarded because somebody hurt you so much that you lose trust. And we talked about that, right? One of the things that stop us from forgiving is trust. You don't want to trust again. You don't feel like you could ever trust again because some part of you was broken. You are vulnerable once. So now what do? You close off yourself and you become guarded, and what happens? You become guarded, and what happens? Yeah, you're protecting yourself because you don't trust what's going to come to you. You don't want to be vulnerable anymore. And then that changes who you are, and it changes your true essence. It changes your true essence, who you are, your authentic self. It changes your complete how you do things, how you see things, how you perceive things, how you talk to people, how you communicate with people. It completely demeans that part of you. It extinguishes the light. It completely compresses who you are, and you lose yourself in that darkness. I know what I'm talking about because I've been there. And in case we lose the internet, please, we'll come back. It will bounce us back. You know, with Zoom, what happens, right? Yes, feeling guarded all the time. There you go. As long as you're feeling guarded, as long as you're guarded and you don't want to get out of it, what you have done is you created barrier around you, and no one can step into it. And as long as that's it, you know what you have done? You have closed yourself off. So you're in terms of preventing being hurt from people coming to you and hurting you, what you have done in turn is you have denied yourself. You have denied yourself that space. You have denied yourself that experience. That is the truth. So we can remove that. We can remove all these layers and filters that we have in front of us. And I'll show you how you can do that through the process. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about because I've experienced it. I thought I would never trust ever again. I thought when my heart was broken, I thought I could never, ever fall in love again. I could never trust another man again. You know, I could never trust somebody else in my life again. Why? Because that part of me was broken. But I've been able to piece those pieces back together. And now that I'm whole, I know that nothing will come in my life that will be strong enough to break me, because I'm in that place where that nothing will break me unless I give myself that permission, or I give that, I say, here, take my heart and soul, it's yours. Do whatever you want to do with it. But I'm not in that position anymore. I am free. I am free, and you can too. You have that ability. You have the capacity within you. You have so much love, so much compassion, so much energy within you, so much goodness within you, so much in you that it's enough to light up the world. Oh yes, so just light up the world, please. I just want you to not only light up you, but light up the world, because that's your potential, that's your ability, and that's your possibility. But forgiveness is the key. It's the special code that you need to release that and be open and be free, to be able to get out of that darkness. That's your code. That's your way out. That's your way out. That's your way out of the darkness. Let me tell you, you know, if there's anything that resonates here with you, please share. Please share. Yeah, we have to let go. We have to let your guard down. If you, as long as you hold on to that guard, you'll never be able to experience anything. You will, even something so good, an opportunity, anything that you want in your life will be right in front of you, and you will not be able to see it. Why? Because you're guarded. You have filters upon filters. And the other thing that we don't often talk about is, because we are so much in this space, you know what's going to happen? We're going to attract like-minded people. That energy, because if you want this, you want this abundance life, you want this happy freedom, peace of mind, beautiful life, happiness, kind, beautiful world where you just feel like you're in your light. If you want that, you need to get out of here. But if you're stuck here, that's all you will attract. Every person you're going to meet will be coming from that space. Why? Because that's what you're attracting. Ever wonder, sometimes you ask yourself, why do I attract the wrong people? Because there's something here that needs healing. Yeah. There's something here that's attracting that kind of people. There's something here that's attracting that kind of energy. It's only when you are in that state of pure essence, you've stepped into your light, will you be able to attract that kind of light? You'll be able to attract the kind of people. Just think about a moment where you have this energy, you wake up in the morning, you have this energy and you're going outside and you're happy and you're in your best self. What's going to happen? You're going to attract the same kind of people. Just think about it. You're going to attract the same kind of people, the same energy, because you are in that energy. You're going to attract the same kind of people. You're moving in the same direction. What happens when you leave your house? You're sad, upset, angry, mad. What's going to go? What's going to happen? The first thing you walk out your door, you get into your car, what's going to happen? Every person you're going to meet, every car you're going to meet, every passerby, everybody is going to what? Is going to just be a trigger for you. I can't believe what this. You'll be complaining and nagging, and you're going to find somebody who's going to complain and nag. So you are attracting that same energy. Just think of that. It's the same thing with forgiveness. So for you to be where you need to be, for you to be in a state of mind and a state of emotion, think of that and just have that vision of where you want to be. And that is what you're going to attract. And for you to attract that, you want to get yourself there. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So our second part of the, we went into the darkness. Now let's walk into the light. Enough with the darkness. We don't want the darkness now. We know what it's costing us. We know what it's limiting us. We know what we are missing out on, right? So now we know. Now we want to move into the light. We want to move into the light, okay? Yes, we want to move into the light. Enough of the cost and the limits and all that. We want to be empowered enough so we can step in and say, yes, we are stepping into our essence, okay? Wonderful. Okay, so what does forgiveness look like? How will your life be like? We talked about that. You talked about freedom. You talked about peace of mind. You talked about your health being, you have a wealthy health. You talked about having that peace of mind and being free and be happy and joyous. That's what forgiveness would look like. Absolutely. So let's keep that vision now. We are walking into the vision of forgiveness now. We've gone from the darkness. Now we are going into the light. So let's step into the light of forgiveness. Are we ready? Okay. How do you intend to go from where you are to the next step? That is the next question. And that's the big question you're all asking yourself. How can I go from where I am to the next step? Okay. The process. And I talked about earlier, forgiveness is a process of emotions and psychological stuff that happened. Hurt, pain, disappointment, sorrow, sadness, whatever emotion that has happened, is just a process for you to release it, to let go, to clear it, to clean it. It's just a process. And that's what we're going to be talking about. So we left the first process, which is acknowledging and knowing what it is and what's costing us. Now is, what are we willing to do? What are we willing to do to move from there to this side? Number one is, I always say what? Own it. Taking ownership. So are you ready today? Are you willing today to take ownership? And that's something you need to be really vulnerable with it. Are you ready and willingly ready to take ownership and responsibility for your life today? If you are, please commit to that in the chat box, that I am willing to take ownership and responsibility for my life starting today. Because we are walking into this door. We are walking into this door of light. We are going into this room. And for us to walk into this room, we want to be committed. So are we committed? You are responsible. Absolutely. Only you are responsible. No one else. So you need to take ownership. You need to take ownership of your life. You need to take responsibility for your life. No matter what happened, that does not define you. Whatever has happened to you, no matter how bad it has happened to you, it does not define you. It's just a small portion of your life. So don't let it control you. Don't let it take over you. Don't let it take over your life. It's just a small portion. So what is it that you're willing to do today? So make a commitment that I am willing to commit and take responsibility and ownership for my life today. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. From today. And that's what we're doing. We are taking ownership. That's the first thing. The second thing is, we need to change how we see ourselves. So paradigm, we need to change our paradigm. We need to shift our paradigm that we know that we can change, number one, and two, that we have a choice. It's all about choice. Remember, when we hold on to it, it's a choice. When we hold on to it and we don't let go, it's a choice we have made, maybe unconsciously, but it's still a choice. So knowing that, we need to change our paradigm shift, our mindset, and realize that, hold on, I have a choice here. So for me to commit and own and take responsibility for my life, I have to also what? Be open to change. So please write it up. I am open to change. I am open to change. For me to take ownership and take responsibility today, I am open to change. I am taking choice. I am going to make a choice today that I own my choice. I am in charge of my choice, that I have the power to choose, that I have the power to choose. You have the power to choose, and you choose you today. I choose you. I choose you. I choose me. And that's you taking responsibility and ownership. The other thing is, and I know this is one of the areas that we tend to be hard on, is judgment. We are so hard on ourselves. Whew. How many times have you said something and you blamed yourself? I often hear sometimes, even when I'm talking to clients, they say, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. That single word completely can change and alter your life, the direction of your life in a very unconscious level. It's the words we use and how we communicate within ourselves also we need to change. So that paradigm shift, the change also is the communication. How do you communicate with yourself? Are you judging, yourself? Self-judgment, going back to regret, going back, oh, I wish I could have done this. I wish I could take something back. We can never take anything back that has happened. So to learn how to let go of that as well, and to give ourselves the permission to say, I made the choices at the time that I felt were the right choices. It got me here, but they were the right choices at the time. But I choose to make the right choices from now on, moving forward. And it's okay if I fall, if I fail, it's okay because I'm going to get up and continue moving. So no judgment on yourself. Are you ready for this? No judgment towards others. Whew, that's big. I know. We so fast on not only just judging us, but we tend to judge others. They did this. We point fingers. They did that. They did that. He did this. I can't believe they did it. What we're doing is when you're pointing a finger towards somebody else, what's happening? The other three fingers are pointing right back at you. It means that you have ownership in it. So when we're pointing fingers, we need to be careful what we're pointing fingers at. So passing the judgment, we need to remove the judgment completely from this commitment. You're walking in this room, there's gonna be no judgment. For you to forgive and let go and heal and step into your essence, forgiveness, it all matters if you drop judgment. Judgment and forgiveness don't live in the same space. Judgment and forgiveness don't live in the same space. They cannot be in the same space. So if you were looking to forgive, you need to let go of the judgment. Are you willing to do that? Can you commit to that today? Can you commit to letting go of the judgment and commit to forgiving? Can you do that today? If you can, please write it down there. I commit to letting go of judgment and commit to forgiveness. I commit to letting go of the judgment and commit to forgiveness. These two cannot be on the same space. Forgiveness, judgment and forgiveness cannot be in the same room. So we need to let go one. So your choice. Do you want to let go of forgiveness or do you want to let go of judgment? Which one is a priority for you? That is a question you need to ask yourself. We'll just take a moment. I know this is kind of a little bit hard because the next one that I'm going to talk about, it's something that will just open up a new space for us and a new understanding. Because remember, forgiveness is a process and we are stepping into that process right now. We are stepping into that light. We've walked into this light to understand that for us to forgive, we need to let go of the judgment. for us to forgive, we need to let go of the judgment, you know, and there's the next step that I'm going to talk to you about. This is a step that I learned the hard way. And I hope from this seminar, if there's one thing that you can take from, is this, that I'll share with you. It has taken me over 25 years to come to that conclusion, to figure it out. I hope after this today, it will not take you 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years for you to get to that point of letting go of judgment and accepting forgiveness. I have carried myself over the life. I wore this cloth of judgment. I wore this cloth of events of my life. I got married at a very young age, an arranged marriage at a very young age. I moved to Canada in 1996, December, Christmas Day. And 3 months later, I walked out of an arranged marriage. It was a very, very tough, difficult time for me at that time. I was only 19 years old when I walked out. Very young, tender age. I grew up just like that. Life that I knew was no longer the same. And there I was in Canada, a new country, no support system, other than my aunt who was there, who stood by me, no matter what. But I had to fend for myself. I'm the girl who grew up with a family member and everybody else at home. So I never knew how to live on my own and be on my own. So from that moment, I went and moved in, got a job, did what I needed to do to survive. So I went on a survival mode. 5 years later, I fell in love, got married. Almost 2 years into it, I walked out with my 8-month-old daughter from a toxic relationship. I was homeless, penniless, jobless, with an 8-month-old child. What kicked in? Survival mode. I went into a survival mode. I went into a shelter. I was homeless. I didn't have a place. 2 months later, I was fortunate enough to find a home, a safe, permanent home for myself and my child. I went into a survival mode, did what I needed to do, prioritize my life. 5 years later down the road again, life gave me an opportunity. I fell in love again, married, thinking, wow, third time is the charm. Finally, I can settle in, be in love, and have my family and have that relationship I've always envisioned. I am a romantic at heart, and I was looking forward to having and living that moment and be in love and have this beautiful relationship, healthy relationship. I had my own set of expectations. Moved to England, left my job here to save my marriage, moved to England with my daughter and my son from my third marriage. 18 months later, I found myself back in Canada. No home, no job, penniless. Went back to a shelter again. That was me again, kicked in my survival mode. Concentrated on what I need to focus on, build my life, take care of my children. That's what I'm supposed to do as a single parent of 2 children. It is only about 3 years ago that I came to realize, yes, I moved on with my life. Yes, there's events that happened in my life. So many things happened in my life. But what happened? I went on a survival mode. And by doing that, I switched something off within me. I switched off all the emotions, psychological, mental state, everything was just shut down. I just went on. And that's all I did. It was then that I realized a few years ago that I realized there's one thing, one missing element that I've realized. And over the process, and I'm going to talk to you about the process of forgiveness. You're going through the process. It's through the process that I've come to realize what I should have done. The first time I got married and got divorced, the second time I got divorced, the third time around, what I should have done then was grieve. I never allowed myself to grieve. How many of us put on a survival mode and don't pay attention to our own emotions. We don't address our emotions, our pain, our sorrows, our disappointments. If there's anything you can take from this today, it's just that. I want you to grieve. I want you to let go. Because when you let go, when you release all the pain, when you release the tears, when you release the hurt, you're opening yourself up to a new space of healing, to a new space of forgiving. If there's anything you can take from this, it's just that. And I truly believe this is the one thing that holds us back. The ego, the fear, the limitations, all that, they're just at the top. They're just a means to cover up, a means to prevent us, a means for us to hide from. I just say that we're just hiding behind the curtain. Those are just small barriers that we can break. But the biggest one that we need to overcome is grief. To truly grieve your pain. To not be a superhuman. To just allow yourself to feel the pain. I never allowed myself in all the instances. And this is just me talking about my relationship. There's so many areas of my life that were affected that I never addressed it. I never grieved about the pain and the emotions that I went through. So if there's something that you can do today, it's just that. Grieve. Just open your heart and soul and just let go. Find a space. If it's a private space, if it's someone you want to talk to, just open up. If you have a safe environment where you have somebody you can talk to of no judgment, create that safe space that is no judgment. Only compassion, love, kindness, and understanding. If you have that support, use that support to open up. Open up. Cry all you want, because you know what? You need to do that. You can never forgive if there's still layers of that pain. The reason I got emotional is because I know there are some people in this room who are going through that, who have not grieved, who have not allowed themselves to grieve. So I am touched by that, because I don't want you to spend 10 years, 30 years, another 50 years thinking and holding on to and just being on a survival mode. I don't want that for you, because I know you deserve better than that. I know your life is depending on your happiness and you letting go and you grieving. So that's the best thing you can do. It's the best gift you can give yourself. So I just wanted to share that. If there's one thing you can pick, it's just that. I haven't had a chance to go in and read through it, but I will go in and read through that as well. So let's just take a breather. Whew. I know we walked into this space of light, but in that light, there's something that we need to address. And in that light, there's some darkness that still we need to get rid of and overcome. And this is one of them. So let's just take a breather. If we can breathe in. Out. Just stretch. Stretch, let's just be relaxed now, because now we're moving on to the next process of letting go and forgiveness. I'm going to give you some tools that you can use that will help you move you from where you are. So I just want you to be in a state of relaxation and just remove that clouded mindset we have right now. If there's any clouded mindset we have right now or any clouded emotions, we just need to remove them now and just be at peace with where we are, Okay. So I know we are running out of time, but I'm just going to be, I have a few more, maybe 5 minutes before we go into the Q&A as well. I just wanted to let you know that what forgiveness does. Forgiveness takes you to a new level. And that's where I am today, to a whole new level of awareness. It gives you that VIP pass access to you, to your inner soul, to your inner essence. That's what it does. It opens up and it brightens you and it brings light into you. That's what forgiveness does. It brings peace and freedom to your life. And that's what I want for you as well. There will be no filters, no barriers, no hiding, no pretending. That's what it does for you, because you'll always be authentic. You'll be vulnerable, just as I have been right now here with you. Being vulnerable, it's okay, because that's when you're most authentic. I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to be fearful of. I have nothing to pretend. I am just me showing up the best way I can be. And you can too. You can. You have that ability within you. And that I want that for you as well. So let's take a moment here to make another commitment. We are saying yes to surrendering to all that is holding us back. If we can just type that up. Yes to surrendering to all that is holding us back. We are letting go. I surrender to all that is holding me back. Can you write that down, please? I surrender to all that is holding me back. I surrender to all that is holding me back. I surrender to forgiveness. I surrender to forgiveness. We have to surrender. I surrender to forgiveness. I have surrendered to forgiveness to be where I am here today and be able to share this with you. I surrender to love. I surrender to love. I surrender to healing. You're opening up yourself. And remember, it's the energy. You want to bring that energy. You want to attract that energy. And for you to do so, you're calling out to it. You're calling out to it. You're calling out to that energy that, hey, I surrender. I am welcoming. I'm welcoming healing. I'm welcoming forgiveness. I'm inviting love. You know, so we want to be able to go into this light and be able to attract that light. I am surrendering. I am opening to love. I'm opening to forgiveness. I am opening to healing. And I am opening to me, to myself. I'm opening to releasing all this. I'm opening to letting go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so the path to forgiveness. Understanding what the path is. It's a process. So the path to forgiveness, the first path to forgiveness is acknowledgement. Acknowledge that there is something that I need to forgive, or seek to forgive, or ask for forgiveness for. So acknowledgement. So have that, write it down, acknowledge. You have to acknowledge what is it that you need to forgive, or what is it that you need to let go of. Acknowledging means that you're present, you're aware of what's happening. Okay, so acknowledging it. And most of you wrote it down, you shared with us what it is. So acknowledging is the first step to healing as well. Acknowledging leads to acceptance. Acknowledging leads to acceptance. You may not agree with what happened. You may not agree with the dark side of you. You may not agree with the dark part of your life. You may not agree to your past. You may not agree to that was done wrong to you. You don't have to agree with it, okay? But you can accept it and say, it happened. This is my reality, it happened. So acknowledging it and accepting that it happened. The moment you accept, acceptance leads to what? Understanding. Then you have a new understanding. Okay, it's happened to me. There is a reason why it happened. There's a reason. Everything happens for a reason. There is no accident. There is no accident. There is no accident that I got married and divorced, married, divorced, married, divorced. There was no accident. And for others, they may look at it as a bad thing for me or judgment on me. But guess what? It's not my concern, because I am in a separate, different space right now that nothing that will be thrown at me will ever touch me. No judgment will come to me that will ever touch me, right? So whoever thinks ill of me, because I've been divorced many times, and I hear there's things that are coming back to me, I don't usually pay attention to it, because I know me now. Whoever is saying, is they're going through their own struggles. So I forgive them. I say, you know what? They need to go through that. And one day they will recognize why they're going through that. So understanding why it happened, you may not have the answer. If you say, why is it? If you play the blame shift and the victim, you will never be able to have the understanding. But if you just surrender to it and say, you know what, I surrender. It happened. I surrender to it. As hurtful as I feel, I surrender to it. And understanding leads to lessons. Yes, understanding leads to lessons. So there is a lesson, there's a gem there. You're going to learn something. Every person that you meet, every event in your life, every incident in your life is there to teach you something about you. So sometimes you have to go through a lot of hurdles, challenges in life. You're going to go through a lot of pain. You'll be tested. Your patience will be tested. Your resiliency will be tested. But guess what? All that you're bouncing off, you will bounce off. You know why? Because you're building your muscles. You're building your muscles, and those muscles are the lessons. What is the lesson that you picked from this? It may not be clear in the beginning, but believe me, if you look deep, you will find it. And the lessons lead to awareness. So being present, wow, this is happening. Having that awareness, and awareness leads to forgiveness. Awareness leads to forgiveness. And having that awareness that it's time for me to let go. Awareness leads to forgiveness. And as we know, where's our path? Where are we heading? Healing. And healing leads to where? Freedom. Forgiveness leads to healing, and healing leads to freedom. And freedom brings you to your inner essence. It brings you to your essence. It brings you to your authentic self, where you don't need to hide and pretend anymore. Does that make sense? If you can just share that, please. If there's something out of those things, acknowledge, acknowledging that, yes, there is something I need to forgive for. Accepting, understanding, knowing that there's a lesson behind it, having the awareness and being present with it, and forgiving, finally being able to forgive. So that's one of the process. You were asking about what is the process? That's the first step. That's the first step. Before you even say, I forgive, you need to go through that step. First 5 steps, and look at it, and then, wow, you will be at a place where you're able to forgive. So my question to you now is, knowing that you have 4 steps that will lead you to forgiveness. What are all those 4 steps, and how can they help you in you coming up with the people that you want to go to and address this with? Now, when I say the people, it may mean it's different for everyone. There's the kind of forgiveness you need to let go of without them being present with you. And there's the kind of forgiveness that you want to be present with them. So I would ask you is 3 things that you can do. Make a list of the minor incidents in your life that you need to forgive. Either the people that played that role in that minor incident in your life. So make a list of the people that you can categorize that fit in that section. Because we have levels, right? We have people who have hurt us, but not to an extent where it's so bad, right? But we still are still holding something against them. So what is the minor area in your incident life that you want to make peace with, basically, that you want to release yourself from? So start with that, okay? Make a list of those people. You can start with 1, 2, or 3, and then build yourself from there. So what are the areas in your life that you feel that you need to tackle? And this will be the first step, I would say. Start with this first before you handle the major ones. Take the minor incidents first in your life that you need to address and make peace with. The second step is, what is the moderate area or incident in your life that you need to make peace with, that you need to gain freedom from, you need to release yourself from? What are the areas? Now, this can be also tricky, right? So what are the areas? These are maybe something a little bit complicated, right? So what are those areas, and who are those people involved in that you can have that conversation with? And the third one is the extreme. So this is the life-altering situation. Extreme. So extreme is different for everyone because we all have a different coping mechanism. What can be extreme for me may be moderate for somebody else, right? So what is extreme for you? So look at the incidents in your life right now that are really, and I would say extreme is something that is really right now, that is just not on the surface, but out, like literally. You could see this person and your eyes just, your eyeballs go out of your eyeballs, like literally because of anger, okay? It could be so extreme that if you see them at the supermarket, you'll be ready to roll your sleeve and go at them, right? That's the extreme. Or the extreme that you had to change your life completely, like alter your life direction at this moment. That could be the extreme. So you can list those kind of people and make a list and write them down and say, okay, who are these people, right? So does that make sense? If you can, share that maybe in the comments, so at least I know this is what's happening, if you're getting it, the minor, the moderate, and then the extreme. So do you have those areas in your life that you feel would help? Would it help? Will this process help you establish areas in your life that you can start? Because then at least you're not feeling overwhelmed. I believe sometimes when it comes to forgiveness, you don't know what direction to take or where to start. And I think this is a great start where you can start from looking at, okay, what are the things that are immediate that I can work on, that are minor, that I can take care of? And then what are the things that will take me some time to work on? And then what is the, whoa, that I need to make some time and be prepared for it. Because you can do all three, but not at the same time. Okay. So yeah, Regina said, I have a minor area, but not an extreme area. Yeah, absolutely. We all have different, right? We all have different coping mechanisms. What could be something minor for someone, it could be an extreme for somebody else, right? We cope very, very differently. Absolutely. Yeah. Tatiana said, I think this process will help me because it gives me a gentle starting point. Then I can work my way up to the extreme. Absolutely. So that's why I don't want to overwhelm you, right? You want to build that muscle. Forgiveness is like a muscle. You want to build that muscle. And for you to build that muscle, to take you to have that confidence and courage to go from the mild all the way to extreme, you want to be able to build that muscle. So you will have that confidence. So when you start taking care of the things that are minor and you see how it's coming out and the benefits of it and how you start transitioning your life, believe me, when you start doing that, whew, relief, I'm telling you. And that will take you to the next stage. So you can start, that would be the first process, I would say. The second process would be, let me just check my note here. Okay, make a note. Okay. The second process will be looking at the areas that now you have all these three. So I have this exercise that I do. It's either you can do journaling or you can do mirror exercise. Okay. I've been doing mirror exercise for a very long time. I've been doing journaling for a very long time. And the intention is different for each. But whatever works for you, whatever you're comfortable with, because I know with the mirror exercise, there are people who are very uncomfortable doing that. And I don't want to put a situation where I can add more, burden to you. Do what works for you. Okay. Do what works for you, because I want it to be fruitful. I don't want it to feel like it's pushed. I want it to be genuine from your side. I want you to do it from your own authentic self. So what works for you? If you're comfortable and confident enough to stand in front of a mirror and be able to do that, that's okay. If you're comfortable sitting down and writing in your journal, that's perfectly fine as well. So there are three things that I do first thing in the morning when I wake up and last thing when I go to bed. And this is a challenge that I would like to invite you on. And it's a 30-day challenge. And this challenge will help you move you from the minor to moderate to extreme. Okay. This challenge. So there's two exercises that you'll be doing. Both. You can do one in the morning and the exercise you can do in the evening. So there's the mirror exercise. I'll let you know what it is. And the second one, I am a Ho'oponopono practitioner. I know it's kind of hard. Ho'oponopono practitioner. And what it does that, it helps you. I help my clients with the clearing and cleaning of what their wounds and clearing up their wounds. Okay, and this leads you to forgiveness. So what you can do is every time you are sitting down or anywhere, I do this even when I'm washing dishes now, anytime, because I know sometimes there's something there I need to let go of. Three things you can say to yourself. Go to a nice quiet room and make sure there's no distractions. And you can sit there and set your intention. And you're doing this for you. And you're saying these three things to yourself repeatedly until you feel comfortable enough to stop. The first one is, I am sorry. I am sorry. And you hold your hand and put it in your heart. And you say, I am sorry. I am sorry. And then you say what you're sorry for. I am sorry for not being there with you. I'm sorry for standing up to you. I'm sorry for not speaking for you. I'm sorry for never saying something. I'm sorry for holding back. So whatever it is that you feel that you need to let go of, you can say that. Then you follow it up with, I forgive you. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please forgive me for. And then you repeat what you're asking forgiveness for. Because forgiveness has to start from within as well, right? We cannot start forgiving others when we also have things that we need to work on. So I forgive you for, please forgive me. That's what you're saying. Please forgive me for. And you say what you're forgiving yourself for. Forgive me for not loving you. Forgive me for not trusting you. Forgive me for not honoring you. Forgive me for not being there for you. So you're saying those things because you want to heal that part of you. You want to heal that inner child who got hurt when you're a child. You want to heal that part that felt rejected, neglected, abandoned, resented. That's what you want to heal. So you want to start that journey of healing. And the third thing is you say, I love you. I love you for. And you say what you love you for. And this is the hardest part. It's the hardest part. I meet clients and family members and friends who cannot even say that to themselves. So take time to say that to yourself. You may not believe it at that time, but please say it. So first thing is, I am sorry. Okay, please forgive me. The third is, I love you. So this you can do morning, afternoon, or evening. Believe me, I used to do this watering my plants, and my kids will look at me and thinking I'm crazy. But it was doing something, it was cleansing. And every time you say that, you're cleansing something in a manner that you will not even see it. On an unconscious level, you'll be cleansing things that you're not even aware that you're cleansing. So even the next person who walks into the door, as you're cleansing you, and you're cleansing whatever triggers that will come along from that person. It is huge. It helped me and it transformed my life. You can do too. So the second exercise that you can do is the mirror or the journal. So you can do 3 to 4 things depending on how you're feeling at that moment. The first one is, I am grateful for. I love this. So what is it that you're grateful for? Every day is different for you. What is it that you're experiencing? What made you happy that day? What brought joy to you? You know, so the little things, it's being grateful to the little things. What are you grateful for? That brings you back to being grateful and have that gratitude and be humble with everything that's happening around you. So I am grateful for. And the second thing is, I appreciate you. What is it that you appreciate in your life? We don't say that. I appreciate you for. I appreciate you for your kindness. I appreciate you for being compassionate. I appreciate you for looking out for me. I appreciate you. Whatever it is that you appreciate you for. Okay? I love you for. I know we do that for the other exercise, but you need to reiterate because love and forgiveness are in the same space. I love you for. And then I forgive you for. So those will be 4 that you'll be saying. I love you for, I forgive you for, I appreciate you for, and I'm grateful for. That will be your mirror exercise or a journal exercise. And you can repeat this a few times. I use my phone and I record it on my audio, and that's all. So those are the things that I just wanted to share with you. If you have any questions, please let me know. I just want to see if there's any other exercise that I left. So I gave you the 30-day challenge. I would recommend when you're doing your minor exercise, do the first 10 days of your 30-day exercise. Spend that 10 days for your minor. Work on the minor areas and incidents in your life. And as you're doing these exercises, find out what's coming up, what's showing up, and journal that. Because that will help you figuring out what's happening and where does it fit in. Does it fit into the minor, moderate, or extreme? Because things will come up. As days go by, things will come up that you never thought were there. Things that you thought you let go of or you forgave for, they will come back. So these are the areas that you want to establish. So the first 10 days, you do your minor. The next 20 days, the second phase, do the moderate, and then the last 30 days, use your extreme. Now, how do you go from extreme? The extreme one, I would say, and this is huge, this is huge for if you're struggling with this. If you're struggling from something that is so extreme, let me tell you something. I want you to go inward, go internally. I just want you to go internally, because this is something that is telling you, no one has the power. No one has the power to make you go to that extreme. It's something inside you. And if you're going through something so extreme and you have a list of incidents that is so extreme, I want you to go inside you and use those exercises. I want you to use especially the one that you're repeating. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. Oh, I want you to use that to really speak to that inner child, because there's something deeper. There's a scar, not just a wound. There is a scar, a deeper scar that's inside that needs healing. So when you're going through that extreme, I want you to go inward. And that you can use the last 30 days of the exercise, because you would have opened up that door. You would have released whatever you needed to release the first 20 days. So you can actually invest the next 10 days after that just to heal you. Just to heal you. Because there's something there that you need to let go of that's bigger and deeper that you ever understand. So I just wanted to share that with you. Please create a safe space when you're communicating with whomever you're meeting, especially for the minor or moderate. It's a conversation you're going to have with someone. When you're having a conversation and you want to speak, you want to create that safe space, a safe space where both of you feel safe enough, and set your intention in the beginning. My intention is to create this safe space and have that end in mind. Just like I had the end in mind with this seminar today, masterclass, is to have the end in mind. What is it that you want to achieve from that? Once you forgive each other, then what? Because there's some relationships you don't want to go ahead with it, right? You're done. You just want to forgive and let go and have a peace of mind. But it's also toxic enough not to be involved in it. And that's okay. I'm not saying you got to be besties. Absolutely no. But it's that power that when you see each other at the store, you're not feeling any intimidation or fear or anger. You're feeling happy, enjoy, and actually be able to say hi to them. And that is the highest place you want to be at. So that is what I just wanted to say. Create that safe space, set your intention, have the end in mind with that safe space, and then create a space that is no judgment, free from judgment, just compassion, love, understanding, and love. So thank you so much. The floor is open to anyone who wants to ask any questions. You're more than welcome. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. Okay, so any comments, anyone? The floor is yours. Don't be shy. No judgment. What are the things that, okay, maybe this will be easier. What are your biggest takeaways from this workshop or masterclass? What are your biggest takeaways today?
Hi, Fadhwa.
Hi.
There was a lot of takeaways. Sometimes, when people give master classes and they share things, it's like everything was flowing with you because you live this, you know what I mean? So you being so truthful, authentic, and then sharing with us, being vulnerable, because it just resonated with me because it was my story. And so it's like when you hold back, like some of us do, we don't even realize that we're not allowing ourselves to really truly connect with, people. Because once you shared your story, it really was like, it just really made it more real, And then it makes you see that you can overcome. and that this is you are the product of what forgiveness looks like.
Thank you. Absolutely.
You
And
know what I mean?
absolutely.
That's
Mhm. Yeah. So what will be the things that you feel will contribute to moving forward for you when you move from here today, when you go home, you're home today, finish this? What are some of the steps that you think you can use that you think would be of benefit to you?
Well, a lot of the things that you had spoke about, I've always lived by forgiveness, because I've lived some hurdles all my life, and just keep going and forgiving. And it was just one thing recently, because I'm an advocate for forgiveness, and I'm an advocate for forgiving myself first and quickly, so guilt doesn't set in and then it starts corroding the inside, right? But because recently I decided I wanted to hold on to something, and then having listening to this masterclass, you just helped me say, okay, I got to make that phone call.
Mhm.
I've got to let this thing go. So
Yeah.
I thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank
You
you. And
know?
sometimes we just need that extra encouragement, right?
Yes.
Sometimes we just need that extra boost to help us. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing
Thank you.
that. Mhm. Yeah. Anyone else wants to share? Any takeaways? I know we went over our time, but my apologies for that. I'm just going to see here. I've had quite a few comments here. Great presentation. I'm more relaxed than when I started. I'm grateful for your powerful, positive energy. My biggest takeaway was to let my guard down, and in order to invite forgiveness and acceptance. Yes. Yes, no, that's absolutely. And you know what happens is, like you said, I'm living it. I'm your truest, I'm your example. This is what forgiveness looks like. This is what forgiveness looks like. Be able to truly be in your own essence and live in your essence and being open and truly step into your own light, where you feel you're in charge, basically. You're owning your space, you're owning your life. And that's exactly what forgiveness does to you. And most of us, we tend to be limited, right? We are limited by the things that are happening, and we are controlled by the things that are happening in our lives. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there anything that you feel I missed out on, maybe that I could have added, that maybe from your own experience that you can share with anyone else? Regina, if you have something you want to share, because I know you said you've been on this path yourself, and
I've come out of 3 marriages. I have 2 children.
Oh my goodness, see?
I said,
Alone.
Fadhwa,
Yes.
you remind me of myself the minute I spoke to you. Now you tell me this story, I'm like, oh,
Yeah. See?
I'm blown away more than I'm even sharing. I'm just so blown away with your and this, realizing that when we have these experiences in life that are really not to be taken lightly, and when we keep it to ourselves, we really don't realize that there's so many people that even as we speak that are in these situations, over and over, and we tend to like carry stuff, and we think it's a small thing, and then we don't allow ourselves, like you said, to grieve and to cry. And then what happens is that it can make you sick, and it does make you sick, and you'll see yourself looking different. I remember when I was going through the valley, and I just kept going and kept going, and I took it like, oh, I can do this, I'm young, I can do this, I can do this. And the older I got doing that, I started looking different. I started really, like you said, you lose yourself. You lose yourself, and then you want yourself back. So it's so much that you share that I'm like, oh my God, and then I didn't, in between all those things that I was going through, I didn't allow myself that grieving time. Like you said, we carry it with us and we don't realize it. And the child is in tow. You have these children with you, and you're just going. And then one day you just get broken down. you just emotionally, you're just broken down. So it brought me to my knees, and the only thing I could really offer to women when they go through that is just to be honest with what you're feeling. Truly be honest, and you do need a quiet spot, because sometimes you feel like you want to yell, you want to scream. It may not make sense to you, but you have to get it out, and you have to cry. It may not make sense to you, but you have to cry. And I did exactly what you did. I did it. And then after that, the tears dried up. I got up and I kept going on for my children, kept moving on for my children, because, you know, you want to be an example of resilience and strength, but you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be honest with your children and tell them, yes, mommy's making mistakes. Yes, but I will continue to make mistakes, and I will grow, and I will grow, and I have to grow, and I have to grow. So, you know, there's a lot of women in the valley, but, you know, there's always a ram in the bush. That's what I always say, right? There was always people there that would be there saving graces when I was homeless. You have no home of your own, and you keep messing your life with somebody, and you go with them, and you think they've got a better idea, and you abandon yourself. Everything you've shared has been me. It's like, I've always put myself aside. Oh no, that's not a good idea. But I was on a path. I was on my own path, and I divert because I think you got a better path. And then I end up having to come right back on my path and continue my journey. So I'm at that stage where I'm hearing myself, enjoying the quiet, because the quiet is telling me who I am. And it's helping me see some things that I haven't dealt with, and I'm clearing things away. Because I have things to do, because I've always been going here. So you so much remind me of myself, and I see you. And I said, this is what forgiveness looks like. So there's some missing ingredients in my life that you have helped me see. Okay, there's some other things I need to fully get this. Fully, so I could really walk in who I am. So women, we have so much things that we can offer each other, especially when because we've been through the valley, so many of us. We come through, we need to share. So I thank you so much for sharing and being willing. Remember, Lisa's always saying, are you willing? You are willing, you are willing. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you know what? We all have shared experiences. I truly believe that. You know, we all have a shared experience. We may be in so many different parts of the world, but we have a shared, like just what I shared with you, and being open and being vulnerable doesn't mean I'm weak, right? It just means that I have gone past that. So I'm able to share the story. It means that I'm over it. When you share a story, and when you share something and you're still crying over it, it means you're still handling it. You're still, you know, it's still hurting. It's still, you need some forgiving. But I'm past that. Not the stories that I share ever come and cry about it, because I have cried over them. I have cried over them. I have overcome them. But when we talk about grieving, it's so powerful. It's so powerful. And that's the one thing that if there was anything that you could all live out with, if there's just one thing, it's just that. Allow yourself to go through that. Be honest and just open up yourself. Be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. Open up to someone who will not judge you. We tend not to share with people because that judgment, right? Or the situation, especially from a cultural perspective, there are certain things you cannot share with people because they will still want you to go back to that place. You're trying to get yourself out of the darkness, they want to put you back in there. you know, I don't know if you've ever experienced that. If you have experienced that, please type it in there. Have you ever approached someone about an incident in your life or whatever situation is happening in your life at that moment, and you know it's the worst situation for you to go back to, but the best advice is go back. You know, they want you to go back. They want to push you to go back. They will drag you there, you know, if they have it their way, right? So that's why sometimes people don't open up. They don't want to share, right? And then when you're out of it, now you're thinking, okay, how am I going to approach these same people? These are the same people who wanted me to go back. I cannot go back and talk to them. They'll tell you, well, you made your decision, right? You made your choice. Why are you coming and talk to us about? What are you complaining about, right? So sometimes we don't have that support system. Sometimes we don't have that safety net where we can go back and talk and be able to have that confidence and share it with someone. So having someone, just even having someone, and if there's no one that you can trust and be able to open up, listen, journal,
Yes,
go
yes,
out on top of something,
yes.
go out in the forest,
Yes.
scream, yell, do what you need to do.
It's
Be
true.
willing to open yourself up, right? I'm here. I'm always here. Any one of you want to talk and just share and just use that. I have this safe space. I'm inviting you. I want to let you know that I have this safe space. I open this space to you. If you ever want to come and talk and chat, and I'm here. I'm here to listen as your sister. No judgment, only love, compassion, kindness, and understanding. That's it. Because I know it's just temporary. Whatever you're going through is just temporary. And let us not hold on to this that will completely just hold us prison for the rest of our life, because your life is precious. Every moment is precious, and you are precious. So I hope this was able to just elevate you from the place you're in, from the moment you walked in. I know the first question I asked when everyone came in, what is the outcome you're looking for? So if you could just type in the box for me, what you came in with, the expectation you had when you walked in here. Was that expectation met? Did I meet your expectation? And how did I meet your expectation? If you can just share that, I would greatly appreciate it, because then I know what I've shared with you from my heart has touched you, and that will help you elevate you to the next level in your life. Just gonna read through here. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Any feedback as well? If you have any feedback, please, I would greatly appreciate what you thought about the workshop or the masterclass. This is actually my first masterclass that I've done. So there's gonna be more. I'll be doing, I sent out a survey to a few people and they responded back to me. So forgiveness was one of them. Stepping into your essence was one of them. And the next couple of workshops will be coming in is finding you, finding me, the path to finding you and your purpose. There will be another workshop that I'll be talking about on communication as well. And so many more coming in. So I'm looking forward to all of them. So yeah, absolutely. More self and others, yeah. So my expectation was you sharing from an honest and vulnerable place. I can relate to your story, and this was a humbling experience. Would love to join again soon. I found this uplifting and healing. Thank you. Thank you so much. So thank you so much, everyone. Any questions before we wrap up? This is an open floor. If you have any questions, I know we had a few people who checked in a little bit later. If you have any questions, Rahma, welcome. Rahima, welcome. If you have any questions, please feel free. You can turn on the audio, or you can just ask the question there, Rahima. I know you just joined us. If you have any question, I'm more than happy to answer your question. Anybody else? None for now. Okay, wonderful. I'm gonna turn off the recording, and then whoever wants to speak, because I know sometimes there's that resistance as well. So I'll turn off the recording, and then we can open up the floor so we can speak openly. Okay, thank you, Regina. Because I'm gonna close